welcome new members, 𝐒𝐻𝐢𝐬 TV. Thank you for your support. It is much appreciated. Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today another build for you. This one brought to you from 𝐓𝐢𝐬𝐬. Now, this revolves around using the unique Devotion, and you are also casting Smite as a Paladin. You have several interactions that allows a lot of Smites to be going off. You're going to use Judgment to get your mana low, and then your mana will stay pretty even in the low range. It's going to consume a percentage of your current mana, which allows you to cast it whenever you need. It's also going to have a cooldown, and at the same time, it will cast off 4 Smites, and it's got some big range on it. Then, whenever you lunge, a Smite will go off on that as well, and then, of course, you can manually cast Smite as well. Now, the big thing here is the Devotion Amulet. This amulet gives you more base damage with Smite per 5 missing mana that you have. So you want to stack a lot of mana, which is pretty easy to do since you'll have a wand that can give you 60 mana flat anyways. You'll be stacking some attunements for some more mana, and then Sentinel also gets the percent increased mana that you can get on chest and helm, although we are running a unique helm in this version of it for survivability. You can do massive damage, especially when on low mana. You can do 250k crits against the training dummy. Enemies out in the field, you can do 10 to 20k hits on the very first hit, and the more you apply shock, the more that damage will go up. You can kill everything extremely quick. So let's go ahead and get into the skills, the interactions, and just how it all works. For skills, I'm running Smite, Sigils of Hope, Judgment, Holy Aura, and Lunge. For Smite, we've got 2 points in Pillars of Light, 1 point in Blinding Flash, 5 points in Sacrifice for that 250% more damage, 2 points in Atonement to reduce that sacrifice health cost, 2 points in Piety, 1 point in Order of Lagan to convert it to Lightning, 1 point in Unbalanced Scale so that you have 3 additional Lightning Bolt targets. And then we have 3 points in Holy Fire for some Ignite chance, and 5 points in Conflagration for that 100% more damage to ignited enemies. For Sigils of Hope, we've got 5 points in Empowering Sigils, 3 points in Decree of Flame, 1 point in Last Wish, 2 points in Word of Alacrity, 3 points in Iron Sigils, 5 points in Enduring Hope, and 1 point in Tetragram to make them last as long as possible and have 4 of them active. For Judgment, we have this set up to consume a current portion of our mana and to also proc a bunch of Smites. Got 2 points in Sacred Sword, 2 points in Pious Offering, so it will consume 40% of our current mana and deal more damage based on that. 4 points in Deliverance gives us increased health regen and mana regen for 4 seconds after using it. 3 points in Swift Verdict for cooldown recovery. 4 points in Ensuing Fervor for some frenzy. 1 point in Ascendant Liturgy so that we have physical and fire penetration. And 4 points in Righteous Decree so that we cast 4 Smites when we use it. Now again, this skill is only used to 1 proc some Smites, but 2 also to consume our mana to keep our mana low so that we'll do more damage with Smites that we manually cast or proc through Lunge or Judgment. For Holy Aura, we've got 2 points in Rael's Devotion, 4 points in Fanatism, 4 points in True Strike, 3 points in Extreme Zeal, 1 point in Demoralizing Aura, 1 point in Swiftness, 5 points in Shelter from the Storm. This will cover some of our elemental resist, our endurance. It's going to slow enemies. We'll have more ignite chance here. And then we also have that attack speed. We have the critical strike chance and some extra crit multi. Again, all these bonuses are doubled when it's active. If you're playing the defense version of this and you're using the shield, you can also spec into getting the ward and health on block and build into block chance to be a lot more tanky. And then for Lunge, we just have this set up to proc an additional Smite. We have 5 points in Dawn Charge, 2 points in Initiate's Onslaught, 2 points in Disarming Blow, 3 points in Coal of the Weak, 4 points in Holy Incursion, 4 points in Reckless Skirmish, and the 4 points in Holy Incursion, this casts Smite on up to 3 nearby enemies, which means that you basically get 3 Smites here, and then when you use Judgment, you get 4 Smites on that. So if you use Lunge and Judgment right after, you basically get 7 Smites cast in less than a second, which is a huge number of Smites that are going off. Got 20 points in the base Sentinel class with 8 points in Fearless, 5 points in Armor Clad, 3 points in Relentless, 2 points in Valiant Charge, and 2 points in Time and Faith. This helps offset the mana cost a little bit with Smite. For Void Knight, we have 11 points. 10 of them are in Abyssal Endurance, giving us Void Resist, Physical Resist, and a lot of health. This also unlocks Volatile Zombie and Abyssal Echoes, neither of which we're using in this build. And then 1 point in Void Corruption will give us 11% more critical strike multiplier. 0 points in the Forge Guard, and 82 points in the Master Paladin, with 8 points in Conviction, 8 points in Defiance, 4 points in Blinding Light, 10 points in Dedication, 8 points in Faith Armor, 10 points in Holy Precision for that huge amount of spell critical strike chance. It also gives 100% critical strike multiplier with lightning skills. This really helps Smite. This is by far the most powerful. 10 points in the whole tree, 10 points in Prayer Aegis, 12 points in Relevance of Duality, and 12 points in Light of Rhea. Alright, for blessings, idols, items, and uniques, not all of these uniques are mandatory. In fact, you can play this build without any of them, but they do synergize together quite well. You do not have to have the Devotion Amulet in order to do this. However, this more than doubles your DPS, especially when at low mana. So it's definitely worth farming for this and getting it to really boost that damage you do. You also do not need the prison reps. However, this is a big chunk of your survivability because since we are at about 100% crit, we are leeching a huge amount of that elemental damage, lightning in this case. So definitely recommend getting this eventually, as this will be a big portion of your leech. And then of course we have the Stormtide boots, also not something that you really need, but this does add a lot of shock chance, which will increase the amount of damage you're doing with your lightning skills. Again, you don't need any of these, but one of these is for more offense, the prison reps for more defense, and then devotion, again, way more offense with it. Again, not needed, but all three of them synergize really well with this build. For idols, we got a bunch of 1x3s that increase your smite damage, and if you can run 4 of those, you're doing really well. For the 1x2s, you can get increased health and flat health, you can also get lightning damage, and you can also get critical strike chance as the suffix. However, I would run hybrid health idols if you can. And then for just normal items, once again, the build planner will be linked below in the description as well as in the written guide. I'm just going to hover over them. Basically what you're looking for is a lot of spell critical strike chance, some attunement, mana where you can get it, and then just health and resistances everywhere else. For blessing, same thing, nothing that you really have to have. Just going to hover over them, but there are definitely some things that are better than others and can definitely help you round out your defense, especially building into the armor a bit for additional damage reduction. This caster is much tankier than the Void Knight caster was last patch that depended on so much leech. The Paladin is just a much tankier class overall, and in this case, we're not dual wielding anymore, so a lot more tanky, and we're putting out even more damage than we previously were. For the character sheet, as you can see, we have just over 2,300 health. We are capped on all resist except for poison. You do have a room for that a little bit more. If you do run the shield version, you can definitely cap the poison resist and then of course have higher block chance for some more survivability. For armor, we're sitting at about 20%. This will go up as you have sigils active. And then for damage types, we have almost 300% critical strike multiplier, and we have 350% lightning damage. For defense, you can see we are capped on both endurance and critical strike avoidance. We are able to take a hit. For skill rotation and how to play the build, I like to put Holy Aura on autocast, Lunge on autocast, Judgement is something that you can proc to get your mana down. So if I spam it here, you can see my mana can go down rather quickly. Now, we're not procking any smites with it because the training dummy does not count as an enemy, but it is going to proc a bunch of smites when you actually use it and there are enemies. But then all we do is cast smite, and as you can see, big hits. We're doing 200k, 250k. The farther down you get your mana, the higher it's going to get, and we're doing anywhere from 150 to 300k crits is about as high as I've seen it go before. It's absolutely crazy. If we get some sigils active here, spam some of those out and get going, you'll see we'll get even a little bit higher with that added flat damage. A 276, 278, 321. So there you go. Yeah, a couple of 300,000 hits. I think a 330 was the biggest hit. So you can do 1/3 of a million damage crits on the training dummy. Absolute crazy damage. Remember, when you lunge in, there'll be a smite that comes down. When you use Judgement, there'll be 4 smites that come down. And then when you manually cast, there's of course that chance to double cast. And having Sigils active will boost your damage quite a bit. Very, very damaging build. Very quick killer. And again, you're leeching a huge portion of that since it is lightning damage, not void now. We are playing this as a lightning. And you have the star prism wraps on, so it's able to give you a huge portion of that critical strike damage as leech. It's absolutely bonkers for the build. Again, you're a paladin, you're capped on most of your defense. Very, very tough to kill. Anyways, that's going to be it for this build guide. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, stay safe and enjoy some gameplay.